Good morning. Welcome to the Premium Public Video Forecast discussion for Friday, September 12th, 2025. We made it through the week and it's been a crazy week, that is for sure. But I have some good news in terms of the weather, so let's focus on that. First, I just want to go over the Johns Hopkins CDC report, which I am working with them to provide data because, hey, look, we're moving towards the fall season. Everyone's at school, so let's keep an eye out on those little pesky viruses out there. And right now, we're still running actually a little bit below normal for a lot of the viruses out there. We are seeing an increase in the influenza virus here, which you would expect for this time of year as you start getting all the kids interacting with each other. So we're definitely starting to see an increase, but not a significant increase yet. So that's certainly some good news. But as always, as the weather starts getting a little bit cooler, we'll probably see a spike in this. So again, I'll keep an update each week and see whether or not we're seeing that rise. And here's the good news. Okay, so since you know this, you can prepare for this, you could go talk to your doctor, be prepared properly, or just make sure you have the Tylenol and all that other good stuff in your cabinet prepared, because that's the key thing. Always be prepared. Now, the tropics have been really, really quiet and unusually quiet for this time of year. There's been a lot of talk as to why. I shared some of those ideas in the live chat, so definitely check that out, that we had on Wednesday. But we finally are seeing some increase in activity, which we thought we would by the time we get to the middle of September with a more favorable MJO. We're seeing one such feature. It is right here. It already has a little bit of a mid-level spin to it, starting to develop a low-level circulation. It's moving into an environment that is fairly supportive for development as it moves over the central Atlantic. So I do expect either a tropical depression or possibly a storm to develop by next week, let's say Monday or Tuesday. And the NHC has about a 40% chance of that developing. Now, unlike the other feature where it was as high as 90% and then collapsed, this time it's moving into an environment where there isn't much in the way of dry air. However, you see this trough out here? That is likely to pick this thing up and kick it out into the northern Atlantic. Model guidance is generally supporting that. So there is our blocking set up here to keep this away from the East Coast. There is another feature out over Africa that could develop as we watch that wave. Again, model guidance is picking up on that, but again, it's model guidance, so I don't want to jump the gun on that and start to get people nervous about any type of development in the Caribbean or the Gulf, Mexico or America, whatever you want to call it. That is too far out. And I wouldn't trust any of the model guidance just yet until you get, what's my rule? A warm core low actually established. Once you get it established, then you understand the structure, and then you can look at the track, right? Okay, so good. We're not going to jump ahead and start posting ridiculous nonsense, right? I hope. Maybe. Anyway, as far as the tropical wave moving off the coast, you can see it's picked up pretty well in the model guidance as far as this point. What I like to use here is just a general 500 millibar pattern. And the general 500 millibar pattern suggests that anything that's coming through the central Atlantic is basically going to get turned northward and kicked away. And you see this signal right here? This signal right here tells me, hey, look, we're going to have a trough over eastern North America and the northwestern Atlantic, and that's going to protect us because it is in a positively tilted trough evolution here. So that means you have a lot of southwesterly and westerly winds aloft here picking up anything that develops. And of course, we'll watch our other feature. But again, that is several days out, and we have to get that thing to actually move off the coast. But what I would take from this data here is that, look, we should see an uptick in activity. I mean, we are at the peak of the hurricane season, so I still expect September and the rest of September and October to keep us on our toes. So let's not leave our guard down. Now, as far as currently, it is absolutely beautiful. Okay, we have high pressure and control, nice northeasterly wind, around 5 to 10 miles per hour, temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s over the northern interior, mid to upper 60s in your suburbs, upper 60s to lower 70s in your urban areas. Even down in Wildwood, it's 70 degrees. It feels amazing out. It's wonderful out. Get out there and enjoy it after you watch this video, of course. And you can see on the WeatherTap radar and surface map, high pressure is in complete control. It's beautiful weather conditions. However, when we take a look at the visible satellite picture, you can see some clouds dropping in. We're going to have some of these little disturbances dropping through the region. And for today, because we have a low level amount of moisture in the atmosphere, that's just going to lead to some scattered broken cloud cover dropping southward. But when we step back, you can see a couple other disturbances here over Canada. They will be dropping southward as well. And that's going to open up the potential for a few isolated showers for this weekend. Not a washout, not anything that's going to be a significant impact for us. But don't be surprised if you have any outdoor activities that you get like a 5 to 15 minute shower passing on through, a little bit of a sprinkle. No heavy rainfall is expected. Why do we have dry conditions today? We see this substance here. See this yellow right here? That's sinking air. And so what that's doing is that it's inhibiting the development of any showers and precipitation. However, as this feature cuts off as an upper level low, and this feature drops south on the northeastern side of a building ridge, that's going to support the potential here for a few showers for this weekend. Again, not anything heavy, but certainly just kind of keep an eye on that evolution. On the 500 millibar pattern, I mentioned in the title here, second summer is on the way. Why is that the case? Well, first of all, we get this trough drive dropping on through, right? And there it is. There's our ridge. There's a northeastern side. There's a trough dropping through. Your primary trough is back here. So today, temperatures and this weekend really pretty seasonable. Not anything well above or well below in that spectrum of near normal. But we're going to see a little bit more of a summer-like feel, maybe even touching 90 in a few locations. Just 90, not like 95 or anything of that nature. Why is that the case? Well, you see this ridge building here. This is going to build eastward. And you're going to kind of get this little block here between the upper level low and the upper level ridge. And so what that sets us up for most of next week is sinking air and substance and generally nice weather conditions, but rather warm. It's going to definitely feel more like mid to late August rather than mid-September. That won't last long, though, as this trough drives south and drives a cold front through by the time we get to next Friday. Now, of course, I know I'm already going to get questions here about the potential for severe weather, so let's just touch on that real fast. I can pull up the right data. Here it is. Here is the Cape values for Friday. Again, we're far out here, so we're kind of pushing the envelope here, but just the overall theme, not very strong Cape values, somewhere around 400, maybe 350 joules per kilogram to touching 1,000 joules per kilogram. So if this sticks, basically what this tells me as this cold front is dropping south is scattered showers with maybe an isolated thunderstorm, but not a major severe weather event or anything of that nature, because I know I'm going to get asked that. So let's just nip that in the bud. And in terms of moisture in the atmosphere, nothing that's too impressive here. No major signs of any type of intense heavy precipitation expected, even with the cold front passage. We're barely getting to maybe 1.5 inches of precipitable water value down in southern New Jersey by Friday. So again, nothing that stands out in that respect. But certainly in terms of the temperatures, if I could jump to that, here we are. We start off a bit cool, but then look at these temperatures rebounding very nicely into the mid-teens at 850 millibars. And this is Celsius. So this typically supports temperatures in the 80s around the region. And then there's our cold front, very powerful cold front dropping south, knocking down 850 millibar temperatures very impressively. So on Friday, it will remain pretty warm. And then on Saturday, next Saturday, going a little bit further out, that's when we get another cool shot. So this upcoming week definitely is going to feel more summer-like. So let's dive into this forecast for today. Sky cloud cover is expected. Look for high temperatures in the mid to upper 70s over the northern interior and along the coast, upper 70s to lower 80s on the I-95 corridor. For tonight into tomorrow morning, look for scattered cloud cover with low temperatures in the mid to upper 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, scattered clouds, an isolated shower or two, high temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s over the interior, lower to mid 80s on the I-95 corridor, upper 70s to lower 80s along the coast, lower to mid 70s on Long Island. On Sunday, Rinse and repeat. Another trough drops on through, scattered cloud cover, an isolated shower or two. Low temperatures in the mid to upper 50s over the northern interior, lower to mid 60s along the coast. High temperatures in the upper 70s to lower 80s over the northern interior and along the coast. Mid to upper 80s on the I-95 corridor. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, expect scattered cloud cover, tranquil conditions, and a bit warm. Now, low temperatures over the interior range from the mid-50s to lower 60s, and along the coast, lower to mid-60s. High temperatures over the interior range from the upper 70s to mid-80s. On the I-95 corridor, mid-80s, and along the coast, upper 70s to lower 80s, and on Long Island, mid to upper 70s. Now, you might be saying, Stephen, why on Long Island are we staying cool? Because we're going to have a southwesterly flow, and you're going to get an impact from the Atlantic Ocean. Thus, you're going to be a bit cooler, especially on the south side of Long Island. Now, on Friday, as the cold front is dropping south and approaching the region, again, most of the day, scattered clouds. We'll have to watch out for a few isolated showers and thunderstorms as we head towards the evening. Temperatures will range from the upper 50s to lower 60s over the northern interior, lower to mid 60s in your suburbs, mid to upper 60s in your urban areas. High temperatures will range from the upper 70s to lower 80s over the northern interior, mid 80s to lower 90s on the I-95 corridor, with the hottest conditions most likely around the Philadelphia metro, okay? And then along the coast, we're looking at mid to upper 80s. So next Friday looks to be a very summer-like day before we get smacked right back down into the 60s and 70s with that cold front passage by Saturday afternoon, next Saturday afternoon. So, got that? Okay, good. That is your forecast discussion for today. Of course, I'm your meteorologist, Stephen DiMartino. And as always, stay safe out there.